So I guess you and I connected over the pandemic. You were doing your Instagram live series, right? Where you were actually interviewing a lot of artists. So tell me what actually inspired that.
I just felt like I should do something at the time other than just sit in the fear of the unknown, you know? So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk to other people who I find interesting, whether it was you or other artists like Duff McKagan.
Yes.
Mike Shinoda I talked to, and I don't even really know him that well. He said yes. A lot of people, Conor from Nothing But Thieves, Taylor from Hanson, who's on the record, so is Conor. And it was a bit therapeutic to just kind of bond over different ways to combat the unknown and the fear of the unknown, the anxiety we were all having. Because there was so much information about physical health at the time, and all of a sudden, everyone you knew was a expert.
Yeah.
You know, and which is certainly the furthest from the truth. So I thought it'd be more helpful to talk about, you know, the mental health aspect of what we were all going through, and simultaneously just talking shit about music, which is what I think we all are drawn to get through difficult times. So it just worked out, and then that was an excuse for me to ask people like Jewel or Beck to join this covers album. Yeah. So you have the Woolsey Fire, which takes my studio out. Then I make Angel Miners and the Lightning Riders, which was sort of on the heels of that weird trauma, which we made in an extra bedroom here. That record's done. We release it. Then the whole world gets shut down.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, well, I'll just make a covers record because that feels lighthearted, and ask a bunch of artists to join me. And if they say no, they're jerks because it's for a charity. That was my thing, you know. And a few people said no, but I understand.
I love you were doing that because obviously these last couple of years were difficult for every single person that inhabits the earth. But I spoke with a lot of artists throughout that time, and it was especially hard for artists who a lot of times artists identify themselves with being on the road, being on tour, creating music. And artists were either not touring or not in the mental state to create new music.
Yeah.
So I was glad that you were doing that. I was glad that you were connecting with other artists and creating this productive energy. And covers make sense because covers can often be comfort.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nostalgia element. I love when artists do covers because it's a great form of expression, but it's a way to pay homage to a song that resonates with you. And is that how you came up with the title, My Echo, My Shadow, My Covers, and Me?
I don't know who originally wrote it, but I discovered it as, they're called the ink spots, and I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to cheat.
For sure.
The song's called We Three, My Echo, My Shadow, and Me, and it's just a wonderful old folk song. And so when I was making the covers album, it seemed appropriate that I would title it something based off another song. So enter my covers within that title. And, you know, it felt appropriate. Meanwhile, I was pretty much alone making the record, even though, just like so many of us were, it was a time of, well, forced isolation in a lot of ways. And I reached out to these other artists. And so it felt like we were in the same room if I opened up Beck's vocal in the studio and listened to, you know, his voice and added it to the song. And it was really cool. And weirdly, I feel like many of these artists, if it was today or 5 years ago, would have probably just said, no, I don't have the time.
Right.
But everybody had time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, you know what, I'm not doing anything right now. Sure, I'll do it. I'm like, yes, you know?